Of course, being on the road all the time has been my life for 43 years. My father taught me how. I learned I had to work on trailers and then work on trucks before I could ever even drive a truck. He wouldn't even let me drive one. Once I learned how to work on trucks and trailers, and I was able to get in a tractor and move trailers around the yard, and then from there deliver storage trailers, and after that started driving, and then here I am. It's not your typical trucking. Basically, it's what I do is part of the entertainment industry, and when I'm with them, like I say, we're town to town. There's usually more than one of us. I can be gone 2 weeks, 2 months, 4 months. It just depends on what I'm doing at the time. What I do, once we get started with what I'm doing, we pretty much on a schedule, and we run from town to town. And we're usually set up in one town for a day, maybe 2-3 days, and then back to a next town. Wherever I'm at, if I do, start a load, take it to where we're going to, what point the shows are at, and then unload in, as they call it, and then we sit there for a day, 2 days, whatever. Around 11 o'clock, load back out, go to the next town, and just over and over, do mostly driving at night. My wife and I, we've been married, November will be 36 years. And she comes from a trucking family also, which is probably the only reason it works, or me being gone is the only reason it works, I don't know. Direct deposit, honey. But yeah, it has its ups and downs. There's a lot of stuff that I do miss, and there's been in the past where I've been home more. What I do now, I'm actually gone more. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to be able to do, which hopefully in the next 4 to 6 years I'm gonna semi-retire and then maybe slow down a little bit, hopefully. Well, with trucking industry, depending on what your loads are like or what you are doing, you learn to sleep when you can, or when, you got the rules of 10-hour break after you're on duty, but it's hard for me to sleep 10 hours, but the old rules that was 8 hours, that to me, that's a better way to do it than your 10-hour rule, but everybody has their opinion on that one. The old rules years ago, you drive 10, 8 hours sleep, and you didn't have the 11-hour mandatory break or within the 8 hours, and you didn't have the 10-hour mandatory break after your duty status. And everybody's habits are different, but to me, the 8-hour would be better than the 10 hours because I can't sleep 10 hours. Then you're sitting up for 2-3 hours doing nothing. The 11-hour rule is one of the deals that you take a guy that maybe get up, let's say 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, take off, sun starts coming up. Well, 2 hours later, he wants to take a nap. Well, with the electronic logs, he takes a nap at the 14-hour rule and the 30-minute rule. Well, if he takes a nap for 30 minutes to an hour, then he's going to have to take another one within that 8 hours because he's already took a 30-minute. So you're pretty much wasting a 30-minute break for nothing. To me, the 30-minute rule is not a good rule. For some people it is, because a lot of people would not take that break and then they get in trouble. The 14-hour rule I don't think is a good rule. Used to, we had, as long as you took your break, if you wanted to sleep 2 or 3 hours and get up and finish what you had to do, you had the time to do it. Or now you got 14 hours to do whatever you got to do within that 14 hours. You decide to take a 3-hour nap, then you got to take another 30-minute break within them 8 hours. So you got 3 hours and 30 minutes into it, you start burning up your 14-hour clock. Next thing you know, you can't get all your driving time in. But you can't divide it up because you got to have some kind of guidelines. That's where I say that the 14-hour rule kind of hurts people. There is a driver shortage. These companies, they'll take someone in. From what I understand, I'm not sure, I've never been there because of the way I was trained, but from what I've heard other people talk about, you get a person comes in who knows what their background is, and they put them in a truck with a trainer, and the trainer trains them for however long it is. And the trainer probably had 6 months training or driving experience himself. And I just feel they should do a little, something should be done to where a person's trained a little more, because that's the key to it. I mean, you've got 80,000 pounds of equipment that's pushing you down the road, and it's not going to stop on a dime. And people trust their brakes too much. I'm sure you see it every day. They come flying up to a stop sign and they wait to the last minute to put on the brakes. And even in a four-wheeler, you're not going to stop that quick. What if your brakes fail? Anything could happen. And it's just something I feel they should, if they want to look at the safety in it, they need to look at the training process of the safety. You see some guys driving down the road, and the way they drive, and you look at them and go, no wonder people hate truck drivers. Because the way they do, their actions, or, somebody cuts them off. And I'm guilty of it too, everybody is. Anybody says they're not, they're just lying. But, some of the actions probably I've done in the past was not professional or did not look proper. But some of them these days, I mean, there's been a change. You see a little better than you used to in some ways, and in other ways it's a little worse than it used to be. I mean, you see things all the time, truck driver, oh no, truck driver. But hey, it's been my life for all these years, so, you get to you can't let it bother you. Even though it does get aggravating, but people, the way they try to treat you, you're a truck driver, but that's just part of the lifestyle. I mean, it's just a nature of the beast. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. You'll have highs and lows, but the good thing about it, you always need truck drivers.